Now, after several months of traversing the nooks and crannies of the country, the Labour Party/Obi campaign train will later today land here in Lagos State for what the organizers have branded the mother of all rallies. According to them, hitting the business end of the campaign in Lagos with exactly 2 weeks before the first ballot is cast in the presidential election was deliberate and a carefully orchestrated strategy to consolidate on the amazing momentum already generated in a state where the party already commands considerable following. Now, frontline civil rights campaigner Aisha Yesufu calls herself an active Nigerian who would do anything to support whatever cause that holds the greatest promise for Nigeria. And regarding the forthcoming elections, Aisha has thrown her weight behind Peter Obi and the Labour Party's presidential candidate. Now, I want to bring in Aisha Yesufu. Good morning to you, Aisha, and thank you for joining us here on The Morning Show.
Good morning, and thank you for having me.
All right, Aisha, let's start it off. Of course, we're in the political season, 2 weeks away from the presidential elections. How are you feeling in terms of confidence, first of all, that the elections will hold and that we'll be having a free and fair election? Let's start it off on that note.
I'm a very elated Nigerian at this moment, and I feel extremely happy seeing the fact that finally, the Nigerian citizens have come to realize that indeed that the power belongs to the people. I'm so happy with the situation we have in Nigeria today, where a lot of people are thinking of voting no longer out of fear, but out of conviction. I'm so happy with the fact that the big lie that used to be told in Nigeria that votes don't count, that is no longer something that is being told, because everyone now sees that indeed the votes will count. And I'm so happy that that fear that a lot of people used to have, that they're not going to vote because they think someone will not win. Rather, they say they're going to vote because they believe that one person is the one who can do the job, and some of the candidates are the ones who can do the job in the different areas. And I'm really, really happy and glad and so inspired by the Nigerian youth who have finally woken up to their civic responsibilities and saying they want to be part of governance, they want to be part of the electoral process. And we have seen just they being part of the electoral process, what we now have in Nigeria. There's a change, there's a shift, and we're working towards, having a country where there's level playing ground for everybody, where there's a competence, character, capacity of people who are ruling, and also where there's good governance, accountability, and transparency. And for me, I'm really excited about that, and I'm looking forward to the elections.
All right, Aisha, talk to us about the mother of all rallies that the Obi campaign will have later today in Lagos at the TBS. We understand that there will be hundreds of thousands of people. But this is coming at a time that your rallies across the country have come into some kind of scrutiny. People are saying that, yes, you've been strong in some areas, but then you have also shown weakness in other areas. They mentioned Kogi, they mentioned a few states where you didn't fill up the stadium, even in Port Harcourt. What should we expect in Lagos, and what sort of message will you use this mother of all rallies to send to your voters, particularly at a time that there is argument about the fact that it looks like there are thousands of people that might be disenfranchised in Lagos, especially those who are said to have engaged in double registration. People are saying that it's likely that those that will be affected might be largely Labour Party supporters or enthusiasts. What do you say about that in connection to the fact that today's rally is meant to, galvanize people towards the elections in 2 weeks' time?
Okay, so I think if I understand you correctly, there are like three questions packed in one. The first one, we are talking about where we have not done well, where we have not filled stadiums. I don't know where we've not done well. the way you're saying, because the last time I remembered, we were told that we are 4 people tweeting in a room. The last time I remembered, we were told that we're not going to have anybody coming out for our rallies. The last time I remember, we were told that we will go to the northern part of the country and we will not find anyone who will be supporting us. And I think we have come out and surprised everybody. And I'm so glad that we are really raising the bar more and more and more for Labour Party and also for Peter Obi. So we've had an amazing good run. We've been that child that was never given any I don't even know what the word to use right now. We're never given any opportunity. We were looked down upon. We were seen as if we can't do anything. And we came out and we surprised the whole nation, not just the whole nation, but the whole world in itself. So we've had an amazing good rally. When we talk about
All right, Steve, we've been trying to establish that, but a point you're trying to make concerning that particular question about the size of the followership and the campaign. Okay, I think
Aisha is back. Okay.
Oh, okay.
Do we have you back? Okay, you were off. Yeah.
I'm here.
Okay, all right. Let's have you back.
Here.
Okay. Good to have you back.
Okay,
Please go on.
I didn't know I was off. So I don't know where you had me last, but I just want to say that, let me start from the beginning where I say you have 3 questions packed in one. The first one, where you talk about we've not had good rallies in some places, there's never a place where we didn't have good rallies. Everywhere has been amazing. People have come out. People have showed up. The passion is there. One of the things I ask everyone to do is that go pick our rally pictures, just zoom into the faces of people and look at other people's rally picture and you see the difference. You see the light of hope in people's eyes. You see the passion. You see the happiness. You see people coming out, and we're doing so much. We're coming out in different places. We've been strategic. What people do not understand is that we don't just go to the rally ground, which we have been filling up, but we also do about 3-4 events in a particular place at the same time. We're doing the town hall meetings with youth. We're doing town hall meetings with women. We're having our rallies every time at the same day. And sometimes we do 3 towns in a particular state, and sometimes we do 3-4 towns within 2 different states. So we've had an amazing run, and Nigerians have come out and they have shown that when they are passionate about something, that we come out and that we stand for that person. That's what is happening. That's what is happening right now. In terms of PVCs, whether they are double registration, whether they are no registration, whether it's going to affect the new. We've had the new registration that was done, and a lot of people this thing was cancelled. So that has been done with. What we are having right now is a situation where people are disenfranchised from picking up their PVCs, either because of their age, demography, or because of their ethnicity, or because of their religion, because they are seen as if they're going to vote in a particular way. And that's what we are saying to INEC. And the INEC has to stand up. The in INEC must be independent. It must not be a decoration in that INEC. And they must do the needful and ensure that nobody is disenfranchised. And I have a lady who I met, and she said she and her mother registered at the same time. But guess what? Her mother was able to collect, but she wasn't able to collect. And so you see, sort of like as if there's a profiling based on age and stuff like that. So we are asking for that not to happen. Today, the Lagos State people have been yearning, have been waiting for this rally. It's not even about us. It's not even about Peter Obi. This is like a homecoming from him. They have been at the forefront of this whole movement of youth coming out. One of the things that we must never forget is that the youth in Nigeria today who are so invested in politics, it came from something. It came from something that was extremely, extremely very painful. And that was the NSAS killings, the NSAS protests, the NSAS killing. The Nigerian youths that have never bothered about politics, all of a sudden, they found themselves, they were protesting for their lives to be protected. And what did the government do? The government killed them. The Lekki Tollgate massacre has led to the Nigerian youth understanding the relationship between governance and their lives. And they said, Now they're going to participate in politics, in election, and we've seen the amazing difference that they have made. And we're looking forward to them also participating in governance, because no nation is built without the active participation of the youth. And so with that pain, they have channeled that pain, not in a negative act, but in a positive act into politics. Because we all remember over 2 years ago, when the Nigerian youth were mocked, the NSAS protesters were mocked and told, go into politics and change governance. And they're doing exactly that. And so they're waiting to actually welcome that one candidate that they have given their all to, that party. And so we're actually looking forward to that mother of all rallies. And if you're not there, TBS is a place to be. Before that, they're going to do a lot of street walks and come over there. Let's ensure that this country belongs to the rightful owner of the country, and that's the Nigerian people. The Nigerian people are the CEOs of Nigeria. The Nigerian people are the MDs of Nigeria. The Nigerian people are the owners of Nigeria. And in every election, you must come out with your one single vote to put it down there and let everybody know that indeed you, I, every one of us, we are the owners of Nigeria.
All right, Aisha, permit me to just corroborate what Steve said earlier on. The vice presidential candidate of the Labour Party said 3 days ago that the reason why Kebbi State, for example, had scanty crowd was because the government had issued the racecourse, the horse racecourse, to them, and it was too big a venue for them to field. So probably just picking back on what he has said, of course, in 2022, we also had scanty crowds in Kogi State, just mentioning that. But my own question, the second question I want to throw in here right now is simple. The political class seem to see Peter Obi and the Labour Party as a third wheel, putting into context that they see the PDP and the APC far ahead and with structures that can canvass and traverse around Nigeria. One man, Rabi Kwankwaso of the NMPP, made a statement and said that the only way he sees Peter Obi winning is if there is a merger between the Labour Party and the NMPP. This is just what he said recently, as early as 24 hours ago. What do you have to say to this? Should there be a merger? Or do you think a merger is what is needed to ensure that the Labour Party can win the general elections 2 weeks from now?
You know, one of the things is that we have a lot of politicians who have so much disrespect and so much disdain to the Nigerian people. They look at us not as citizens who are the owners of the country. They look at us not as their potential employers, but to people that they can gaslight into what they want, whatever it is they want, which is what they've always done. What they have not realized is that the highest demography in this country, which is the Nigerian youth, good number of them very educated people, enterprising, creative, and people whom we have seen have the capacity to use technology and social media for good, that this large proportion of youth have woken up. And a whole lot of citizens, the middle class who ordinarily do not bother about politics because it doesn't affect them. Every one of us, we've been affected by the bad governance in this country. And so people are invested in this election. This election is different from every other election that we've had because of the investment that people are making in it. So this is no longer about saying, oh, there has to be a merger or no merger or whatever. This is a time of the people are choosing and have chosen a candidate that they want to be the one to lead them, and the different candidates. The time for merger or no merger is over. What are you merging for? The time there was a discussion for merger, it didn't happen. And so that we've moved on from that. The Nigerian people have decided that they now know their power, they understand their power, and they're going to use that power. And I think it's very important for the politicians to respect the people and give the people the regard and the esteem that is due to the people, because this is not about they calling the shot. They've called the shot for so long. Unfortunately, they didn't use the right thing. They gaslighted the people when they told the people that their votes don't count. People no longer now know the real truth that their votes count, because we used to say that if votes don't count, why were politicians buying votes? They've tried to use violence, which is some of the things that the street try to use right now, and People are saying that, look, we are being killed anyway. And so we are going to come out and vote. We're going to sit there and defend our vote. We're going to ensure that our votes matter. On the other issue of Peter Obi being a third wheel, really, there's no third wheel anywhere. The two other parties, they are one and the same. Like Dr. Obi Ezekwesili, we always call them Siamese twins. Parties that give you bad governance, lack of accountability, insecurity. They have structure. They say they have structure of criminality, structure of destruction, structure that has taken Nigeria to the pit. And so, as far as Nigerians are concerned, this party, AP, PDP, and PDAPC are one and the same. And they put them in the same place. And they're looking for alternative. And they've found that alternative in Labour Party, in LP, Mama, Papa, Pekin. And they're going with it. And they're saying, now they want to go a different way. They've gone through the route of these two particular parties who are the same, and you see each of them. And one thing I would like to say to Nigerians is that whatever APC says about PDP, believe it. Whatever PDP says about APC, believe it. It's true. They know each other more than any other person. And
Steve, once again,
it looks like we lost Aisha temporarily there again, but I mean, she was doing well with the question, that you posed at her, basically saying that there's no third wheel, anywhere, which for me was going to lead to the next question that I wanted to ask her about how the obedient. Okay, Aisha. Okay, Aisha is back. You're welcome back, Aisha. Sorry we lost you temporarily again, but you can return to your thoughts so that you can finish on that thought before we ask another question.
So the thing is, I don't know where my thought is being lost. It's quite surprising. I'm getting lost as I'm flowing, and I'm like, what?
You are quite flowing on the fact that there is no third wheel any way that
yeah, fantastic. So let me take it off from there.
All right.
I was saying that there's no third wheel anywhere. That Peter Obi is no longer the third force. Peter Obi is the fourth himself. He's the leading presidential candidate, and he is one who, in all the polls, is leading. And Nigerians want someone with competence, character, capacity, someone who is a servant leader, someone who is a transformative leader in office. And when he gets into office, and this is the beauty, this is why I'm loving this new Nigeria, this you that have taken hold of the electoral process and driving the political process we have in the country right now, is that we are going to hold him accountable. They are going to hold him accountable and ensure that when he gets there, that he's going to do the needful. He's going to give Nigeria good governance, development. He's going to ensure that there's transparency, there's accountability, there's level playing ground for everyone. The country is united, no longer a place where it is about where you are from, but the fact that we are all Nigerians and we must work and ensure that we have a great nation. So these are things that we're working towards. So I think it's very important for the politicians to respect Nigerians, to respect the fact that citizens are making a choice, and they should eat humble pie and put their head down and begin to talk to citizens, not to come and start telling us that, oh, there has to be a certain way. They have done it their way for over 24 years. It is now the time of the people of Nigeria, the real owners of Nigeria, to do it their way. And their way is by electing the leader at the polls, no longer endorsing what has been selected. The era of party agents and imposing the worst in a party on people, it's over. Nigerians have decided that any party that did not give Nigeria the best candidate, Nigeria will punish that party by not voting for that party and going for the party, no matter how small any other person thinks that party is, going for the party that gives Nigeria the best candidate. And that's a beautiful thing to see in Nigeria. And we look forward to seeing more of this. And also, when they get into office, we will hold them accountable.
All right, Aisha, talking about the real owners of Nigeria, I would like you to analyze for us a couple of recent polls that have shown yet again that your candidate, Obi, is tipped to win the general elections in the presidential election in 2 weeks' time. The Bloomberg's poll and the Steers poll, both were, unanimous in saying that except for the high numbers of the undecided, if we look at those that they have polled at this time, Obi is likely to emerge the winner. But a lot of people have issues with such polls, thinking or saying clearly that it does not seem to reflect what is on the ground, and that by what they can see on the ground, APC on the one hand and PDP on the other hand seem to have more visibility on the ground. Talk to us about how these results of the polls reflect reality for you, bearing in mind that for a winner to emerge clearly, he will need to win 4 out of the 6 geopolitical zones. He will need to win the popular vote, and he will need to pick 25% of the vote in 24 of the 36 states of the Federation. Are you saying convincingly that your candidate at this point in time, 2 weeks to the elections, can deliver on those 3 pillars that will make him the president?
So the first thing that we need to look at is that data, like some will say, in God we believe, every other person brings the data. And we've seen since last year, when the ANA polls first came out, and people were skeptical and saying all sorts of things, that the data has been consistent. Data is different from anecdotes. So one of the things is that, let me first of all say that the APC and the PDP, they own the billboards. Yes, absolutely. They have the money to put up all of those things. The Labour Party, on the other hand, own the street. The presidential candidate for whom I'm speaking directly, he has been in government. He hasn't stolen money. He hasn't looted money. The LP doesn't have state resources that they're using. We are all using his money. Our citizens are donating their widow's mite, and we are all using that money judiciously. And one of the things I want people to understand as we go into the election, yes, there are people that you go to everywhere. You see their billboards everywhere. You will see the posters and everything. But look at which candidate has this smallest amount of money, but it's making the most judicious use of that money and ensuring that every kobo counts and every kobo is used judiciously. And you see the impact that we've made. That's the same way, that is that party that we judiciously use the scarce resources that we have right now, because Nigeria is tight right now, and be able to deliver good governance to Nigeria. So
Looks like there's a temporary glitch again. Yeah. We lost Aisha there. I think it has to be the network, given where she's speaking to us from the south part of the country.
But good question, because like you said, these things are not magical. You don't expect them to just magically appear in terms of trying to collect the numbers and just saying that, we have the popular vote, or we have the popular opinion also, and the words in the streets say that this man is the most popular. There are steps to become president.
Absolutely.
And it is enshrined in the Constitution, and it is very clear.
Very clear.
INEC has also tried to re-emphasize his messages time and time again, that don't just say that, you were popular, and by that reason probably you were, elections were rigged that did not favor you.
Absolutely.
Those mile markers, if they are not met, those mile markers.
That's it.
You
may even pick the popular votes.
Yes.
But if you do not fulfill the constitutional requirement of 25%, the spread is important in 24 states. You can't be president. So there are issues that they will need to consider. A number of people have issues with the poll. That how many people did you sample?
That's the first
across
one.
Where? There was an interview recently where Kwakwanso, the candidate of the NNPP, says 90% of his supporters are not on Twitter, and it's not likely that on social media they will have been polled. Anyway. Yeah. But Kwakwanso himself is also active on Twitter, by the way. So these are issues that people will grapple with till the very last minute, of the election. It doesn't look like we have. Aisha.
And that was actually, it's unfortunate, because I was hoping that.
Do we have Aisha back? All right, Aisha, just one more time.
All right, Aisha, for the brevity of time, permit me to just quickly throw this in, because we are really out of time. Yes. Well,
I don't know what's happening. I don't know why.
Okay, Aisha, quickly, let's get to I would like to sample your opinion about the storm in the teacup that has been brewing on social media for the last 72 hours, whereby Shehu Kuti referred to the Labour Party presidential candidate as an opportunist. Some have actually said that when you look deeply into that particular statement, that at a certain time, like you mentioned, he was in the PDP and actually pulled out when he saw that his chances were not bright. Then he actually moved to the Labour Party. But some will say that is opportunistic behavior, so to speak. What do you have to say to that, basically?
Yeah, so for me, one of the things for me about life is that I don't major in the minor. So I focus on issues that needs to be focused upon. Before I come to that particular question, because I was really on a serious question when all of a sudden I got, my network or whatever it is, I couldn't be heard. So I would rather fully finish up on that thought. And if I have time, then I'll add a bit more from the issue of what you've said here. I'm talking about the polls. And the last statement you made just now was the issue of I think I heard you say, Kwankwaso saying that most of his supporters are not on social media. If most of Kwankwaso supporters are not on social media, and if I'm not mistaken, Kwankwaso have been in the politics of Nigeria for decades, and yet his supporters are not on social media. They are not growing with the people. Then what is he doing in politics? He hasn't done them well. He can come out proudly to say that, and I think Atiku also have said this, to say that the northern people are not on social media. That is absolute disrespect to the people of the north. I was born and brought up in the north. I was born and brought up in Kano. I'm from Edo State. So I find it very disrespectful when they come out to say these things, to say that development is not in the north. That was the same thing when we were talking about electronic transmission, electronic voting and all of that. A senator from Borno State, at one time minority leader Senator Ndume, we come to say that there is not electricity, or they don't have enough manpower for their people to be able to vote. And I said, look, if your people, which all the time you've been in politics, they've been impoverished, instead of them to be developed, then you need to stay out of election and let others vote on their behalf and let this thing. So all of this is, like I keep saying, is this disrespect to citizens that we have. Let me tell you an incident I had yesterday. And FS Yesufu, we were together in a car. When a guy who was selling whisk by the roadside saw me, he was like, oh, Aisha Yesufu. So I went down and he said, I see you on TikTok and I see you campaigning. He talked about Peter Obi, he talked about LP. What they don't realize is that those people they think are not on social media, they are very much on social media, they are very much on TikTok, they are very much everywhere, and they're seeing and they're listening and they're seeing how youth in other countries are going on. And so this is something that is very strategic. The other thing I was mentioning about the post is that we're in the post where we are not doing badly, we don't complain. We're looking at the things that we are going to do. Kwankwaso is going to work very well for us in the fact that as far as let him go and balkanize the Northwest for us. So everybody, we are all grappling for numbers there, Kano and everything. In the Northwest, we are doing well in Katsina, Kaduna, Kebbi from the post. In the Southeast, South, we have that. Southwest, we are leading in the Southwest. North Central, we are also leading. I think we got about 4 states in the North Central, and then the Northeast. We were able to have 20 in some of these states, Taraba and Co. We didn't get all of them, but so we are good. We are leading, and we have the wider reach as it is right now. Coming back to the question that you had asked, there was something. Can any of those candidates, if you look at the two major candidates, for example, let me say the two major candidates, you have Peter Obi, and then you're having and the rest, right? So these are the two major candidates, Peter Obi and the rest. What do you have? You have someone whom everybody said he was making a suicidal move by going to a small party at that time. When Peter Obi left PDP, people said that was the end of his career. He couldn't get anything out of it, that he had made such a blunder. And this is someone who has gone to a party where there were issues in that party at the time that he went, and a lot of people were saying that, oh, why should he go to a party that had issues? But guess what? He was able to enter the party, unite the party. The issues were done, and that's the same thing. We have a country that is not united, that people are fighting. So if he gets when he becomes president, we are looking at him doing the same thing and uniting Nigeria. And today, the LP that nobody once upon a time even knew it existed is now on everybody's lip. That is a master move. If nobody knows. And he was not afraid. He didn't stay in a so-called big party like some of them who just change from one place to another and don't dare to go to other places and build it up. And today he's on everybody's lip, and he's there and he's working. So suddenly, from 4 people tweeting in a room, from Mr. Peter Obi has made a suicidal political move, from he has killed his political career.
From 4 people tweeting in a room, he has killed his political career, to now leading at the polls. I think that's what Aisha was about to say.
Yeah.
You know, it's a pity that the connection today has not been very friendly
to her
from Port Harcourt. But I think that he has marshaled, argument.
Yeah.
How that would translate to. She's off. Okay, it doesn't look like we'll be able to.
Okay.
She's on. Okay, Aisha, you're welcome back once again. Can you hear me?
Thank you so much. So yeah, thank you so much. I can hear you. I was just saying that for one who was saying that his political career is over because he left PDP.
We'll look forward to the mega rally later on today in Lagos State.
Today in Lagos.
Let's see the number of people that will come out, because they are calling it the mother of all rallies.